It's the end of 2014, and what a year it's been when it came to the regional championships in the Donaldson Cross Country Championship. Over in the northwest, Freiburg was the place to be in September, as the Freiburg 200 took to the terrain of cattle country. As always, competitors came from far and wide to take in the challenge, none more so than Martinus Leroux.
It was a wonderful season. We have tried for a few years now and fighting a bit for the championship. And this year we're lucky. We was winning a lot of the races. And one race the second race at Harry Smith, we broke down. That put us a bit back in the championship. So then we fight a bit with a few wins again. And we're now in the front, first position on the championship.
On the other side of the spectrum, there's rookie Regan Austin.
Enjoying it so far. I think it's a great sport, great camaraderie.
In Class B, Aaron Pretorius is definitely one to watch.
Ja, Freiburg soos ons verstaan is gaan 'n lang dag wees, baie dik sand. Ons ry maar 'n 4-silindertjie, so ons vermoed ons gaan 'n bietjie swaar kry in die dik sand. So ja, engines gaan warm word, gaan 'n warm dag wees, so ons moet temperature dophou en ja, dit gaan 'n lang dag in die stoel wees.
Warm indeed, plenty of racing expected, so Tony Gavea and his son Michael get things underway in their BAT Spec 0. The Gaveas certainly held their own throughout the race, and with very little dust in front of them, they went very fast. The pair did have a slight mishap. They hit a tree along the way, while they also lost a fire extinguisher. But despite these minor problems, it was plain sailing for the father and son team. However, they were warned about lack of lights in the front. They were forced to get out, replace them, and get going once more. Coming home in second place amongst the specials, Francois Conradi and Bjorn Buchner. That's despite losing the accelerator at the 190k mark. Rounding off the top three, Giel Nel and Fadi Pieterse. They loved the race and were only too happy to be back in the Kalahari, experiencing no issues whatsoever. Finishing just off the podium, David and Martin van Jaarsveld captured fourth place in their Sandmaster, the dust and rocks not proving too problematic for the pair. The man going at it alone in his Sandmaster Magnum, Francois Smith, securing 5th place in class and 6th overall. A legend in SA motor racing, the flying German Wolf Peter von Wyk came home in 6th place to ensure he remained a front runner in the championship. Also fighting it out for the title but finishing one place back, we heard from him earlier, Martinus Leroux alongside Gustav Pienaar. Capturing 8th place and the last special to cross the line, John Evans and Craig Galvin. While the race tended to favour the specials, there was no denying Dirk Pitter and Jacobus Klaassen in their Ford Ranger. They had power lag during the first 40 Ks, but from then on, it was a clear run. They didn't need to get out once. The pair, of course, go back to their student days when they did their engineering degrees together, so it's a friendship which was born from plenty of years, and they've continued it behind the wheel. They looked solid throughout in their Mitsubishi Pajero, Rob Reed and Bobo Schwegler. They never got out the car despite overheating a bit in the thick, soft sand and finished second. Taking the last spot on the podium with some very good racing, Theuns de Toy and Arnold Norkier in their Toyota Hilux. We heard from a nervous Regan Austin earlier, but he and Warren Foss lived up to the challenge, a very commendable 4th place, although they did lose power steering about 30 Ks into the race. A 5th place finish for Andries Maynard and Hein Krier. They got lost 10 Ks in, but they did manage to get their Ford over the finish. There were a number of competitors who DNF'd, but that wasn't the case for Thomas Hodgman and Jean-Pierre Strauss, their Nissan coming home in 6th position. First in the Class Z Club Challenge were Gert Steyn and his daughter Tanya Berger, the pair saying they had tremendous fun out there and got to the end without suffering any breakdowns. Finishing almost 20 minutes back were Willy Velman and Marcus Verrie in their Ford Bantam. Dana Voss and Louis Janse van Vieren, who on occasion also compete in the national champs, had a good outing in their Toyota Hilux. Up front though, it was Tony and Michael Gavea capturing victory in the specials. How tough was it out there? The guys are moaning about how hot it was?
Yeah, it was hot, but it was fast. So the faster you go, the more wind comes through the car. So it's like awesome, man.
The father and son team finished more than 10 minutes clear of Conradi and Buchner, while Null and Peterson were just over 15 minutes off the pace. Pitter and Claessens, meanwhile, were all smiles and productions. A great result for the Freiburg local.
Yeah, between Barbaspan Motor Club and the Northwest, we took fourth to the first positions in national and regional. So we are very glad to give Ford the honor today.
Another resounding victory for the pair, who are certainly no strangers to winning. Reed and Schwegler were a further 12 minutes and 44 seconds back, while Dutoit and Nokia rounded off the podium. Breaking away to look at Class T in the Donaldson Cross Country Championship, the title was a closely fought affair, but defending champs Anthony Taylor and Dennis Murphy from Castrol Toyota captured title number 2, with the Horn brothers from Malalan finishing second. Third place went to the Atlas Copco Ford pair of Gary Berthold and Siegfried Rousseau, while Leroy Polt and Rob Howie from Castrol Toyota secured fourth. It was all about their teammates though, Taylor and Murphy.
Anthony, 2 years in a row, you must be very happy.
Of course, yeah, it is. It's quite an achievement. I think the last person to do it was Duncan, also in the hands with Glenn. So, it just shows that Hall Speed is the company to be with, and the product is really now Toyota. And I must say the Castrol Toyota has been superb all year, as well as last year. And but I can't take all the credit for myself, because Dennis has done just as good a job in the navving side of it. And yeah, I just hope that the guys from Hall Speed have an awesome Dakar, which I'm sure they're going to have. And I think they got the right weapon to do it with.
So in the end, 8 points separated the top 2 teams, with Toyota taking 1 and 2 in the championship. The Ford of Berthold and Rousseau finished 30 points off the pace. Class S was another closely contested affair, which came down to the wire. Yanni Visser and Yorks LaRue did just enough at the Atlas Copco Gold 450 to finish ahead of Dion Fenter and Ian Palmer in the 4x4 Mega World Toyota, while Rivercon Racing's Loderbrain and Rian Hueling rounded off the top 3.
Yanni, you must be very happy.
Ja man, ons is baie gelukkig. Ons het nie gedink dit gaan so eindig nie. Ons het vanoggend in 9de in die klas begin. So ja, ons het nie baie hoop gehad nie. Toe sê ek vir hom, ons moet maar net aanhou en wat gebeur sal gebeur.
So Visser expected the worst but got the best. He and LaRue, winners of Class S, just 3 points clear of Fenter and Palmer. Back to the regionals, and we're in KwaZulu-Natal, a motorsport hotbed for the R&B Timber Group Harding 250. As has been the case throughout the races we've seen so far, it's extremely tight at the top, with the championship very much up for grabs.
Today's a very important race for us, so we don't know whether we need to take it easy or try and go for a win. If we get a win today, we'll tie the championship up. But also there's a lot of forests out there, so it's going to be cautious driving for everybody, I think. And yeah, we'll just play it as it goes along, and hopefully we have a clean run and get a semi-decent result, and that'll take the pressure off us in the last event.
One man who can't wait to go out is Class C competitor Jared Blackman, racing a modified Can-Am.
Awesome vehicle. It's quick, very quick in the tight stuff, and a load of fun to drive.
The vehicle is perfectly modified to suit Blackman.
Yeah, no, we had to change quite a lot. Hand controls, we went through 3 different sets of development, so it's taken quite a bit of time. And obviously my legs have to be strapped down and all stuff like that.
No doubt that Barnes was the man to watch during qualifying, and he lived up to his reputation. He and Anthony Asher finishing fastest in Class A and overall. Fastest in Class B and second overall, Manfred Schroeder, the man who stood in for the injured Chris Visser in 6 of the Donaldson Cross Country Championship races, alongside his son Daniel. Marcus Taylor and Trace Pricemore did the business in a time of 33 minutes and 34 seconds, third fastest for them. They finished exactly 20 seconds clear of Don and Michaela Thompson, who enjoyed the route and endured few problems. Two men, fellow competitors, were definitely keeping an eye on: Reg Sutton and Warren Bienieke, the pair rounding off the top 5. Overall, some good times set, but the man who was most surprised about his placing was none other than Manfred Schroeder.
Yeah, no, totally unexpected. I mean, the pace we were going at, you thought you're going to start right at the back. The car's not going as well as it should do, and it just didn't feel like we were on the pace.
What about his son?
Yeah, it's very well marked. Some sections are quite tight and there's going to be quite a lot of dust.
They'll have to wait before they're back en route, as setting things off was Barnes and Usher. You can't miss their green machine, and it was as if the eye decals on the front were real, given the way they managed to maneuver themselves through the woods. They've been superb throughout the KZN Regional Championship, having won 2 races while grabbing second place twice. They've only had 1 DNF, and let's hope that doesn't become 2 as they're slowing down and look to be in trouble. Well, good news, they are back up and running. The Schroeders are taking part in their first race of the season following Manfred's duties with the Atlas Copco Ford squad. He looks right at home and is second overall. Taylor and Price will maintain their hold of second place in Class B. The obligatory stop before they're back off into the Midlands. Thompson has proven to be a very prominent name in racing, and there's no surprises here as Don and Michaela Thompson continue to power on. Reg Sutton and Warren Bienieke lie third in Class A and 5th overall, their vehicle purring to perfection. Another man who is a regular face in the Donaldson Cross Country Championship, Gary Campbell, alongside daughter Jess. Completing the top 5 in Class A, for now, Ricky Carter and Darren Gray. They're looking to avoid a hat-trick of DNFs in what has been a pretty tough year. It's a different story for Tony Ball, going solo and looking for his first win in 2014, although he did manage a second place in round 4. He's 4th in Class B. Great racing from Stefan Morar and Sean Braithwaite. They've flown through the field in their new Bat Spec Zero. You can't keep these two men out of a car, James Watson and John Thompson, but unfortunately they're going to have to get out.
Gears are stuck in 4th in the gearbox. We thought it might have been the linkage, but it's not the linkage, eh? It's in the box itself, so race over.
Bad news for them. A gingerly drive back to DSP as they pack up and go. Meanwhile, Bryant Mayer and Hugh Hedgecock are going along fine, no problems on their side. The first in Class C, John Rowe. In fact, he's the only competitor in his class. Not far behind John is the pair of Robert Spence and Kevin Teron, looking for their second victory this year after finishing first in the opening race of the season. And there they wave goodbye to John. Nice driving. But as I say that, the pair come to a grinding halt and it looks as if their race may be over. We heard from him earlier, Jared Blackman alongside Fabian Lemerson in their modified Can-Am, the only side-by-side competitors, but keeping the other classes honest with some great racing. After some intense action, it's back to DSP to re-energize, refocus and refuel. Don and Michaela Thompson enjoying an exceptional drive so far. Not far behind them, Reg Sutton and Warren Bienieke. And hot on their heels, the bat of Gary and Jess Campbell, although there seems to be some issues with the vehicle.
You got a problem?
Yeah, it doesn't seem to be charging properly. I don't know if it's a major or a minor, but we're going to just have a look and check, eh? Yeah. Batteries.
15 minutes enough.
I hope so. We'll try and make a plan.
Average is blah. Humdrum doesn't make history. Nobody sets out to live a mediocre life. We all want bigger things to define us. The very thing we want to be takes hard work, dedication, originality, smart thinking, blood, sweat, tears, class, and style. And the quest to be that can either make you or break you. This is our journey. Join us.
The 14th Passion for Speed event will take place at Swartkops Raceway on the 30th and 31st of January. To give you a taste of what to expect, we're rebroadcasting all the action from the 2014 event. Part 1 will take in highlights of the Pre-66 legends of the 9-hour production cars, the Pre-74 International Sports prototypes, and the Le Mans Sports and GT. We also look at the Pre-66 Little Giant production and various sports cars. And in the second week of January, it's the turn of the Pre-77 historic saloons, including the Pre-74 Trans Am, the Lotus Challenge, historic single-seaters, and extreme supercars. That's the 2014 Passion for Speed highlights, this January on Ignition, DSTV Channel 189.
Loop 1 done, and it's on to Loop 2 and 3, and having no issues whatsoever, and championship contenders Arthur Barnes and Anthony Asher. There's been some change to the front runners as Taylor and Pricemore have taken over top spot in Class B. The duo have had a season of contrasts. They've won one race, finished second in another, but also picked up 3 DNFs. It's all or nothing for these two. Let's hope for their sake this race ends in all. Well, Sutton and Bieneke's vehicle looks to have made a rapid recovery. They're second in Class A. Their car may sound worse for wear, but they are third in Class A, Don and Michaela Thompson. They've dropped a place in Class B, but are still well placed in second, the Schroeders, Manfred and Daniel. Third in class, impressive considering he's going at it alone, Tony Ball. It's all about team for Mayer and Hedgecock. Good performance so far as they've climbed to fourth. Back to the A's, and it's Moraa and Braithwaite. Their earlier racing has seen them move up to fourth place. They started way back at the start of the day. Another solo driver, John Rose, still powering alone by himself. Speaking of power, it's Arthur Barnes and Anthony Asher that capture the checkered flag. It certainly was an impressive performance and a wire-to-wire victory.
We're over the moon. I was very worried today, knowing that Ent's retiring at the end of the year. So we pushed hard on the prologue to get a number 1 start, and kept it together all day, and the car ran beautifully and faultless, and we got what we wanted. We got a win, so we've tied up the championship with 1 event to go.
Excellent result for the pair, finishing exactly 7 minutes clear of Taylor and Pricemore, while Sutton and Bieneke came home in third place. Back to the Donaldson Cross Country Championship, in Class A was dominated by 2 men with the same surname, Quinton and Cully Silvold, who wrapped up the title before the final race. Lawrence Duplessis and Gili Leroux ended the year in second place after securing wins in Heat 1 of the Toyota 1000 Desert Race and the Force Fuel 450 at Sun City. Gerard and Hardis du Plessis finished in third place after grabbing 3 podium spots along the way, including a win in KwaZulu-Natal. But all eyes were on the winners from Elegant Fuel.
Obviously, fantastic result for us. Really happy for all our sponsors and for the team that's put in a lot of effort into the car for the preparation.
The Silvolts finished a massive 30 points clear of du Plessis and Leroux, while the father and son team of Gerard and Hardis du Plessis and the Motorride Racing pair of Hutchison and Stassen were 36 points off the pace. Over in Class P, things were far tighter, but in the end it was John Thompson and Maurice Zamatin who ended on top thanks to a consistent year. Second place went to James Watson and John Thompson, and a DNF in round 1 ultimately scuppered their chances. The man nicknamed Maverick, Colin Matthews, alongside Rodney Burke from Century Racing had 3 DNFs, but they still managed to finish third.
John, congrats, you must be very happy.
Yeah, I'm really chuffed. We had a good run today and we've had quite a good year. I think we came first 3 times this year, broke a drive shaft in one of the races, but mostly through the year we've had a very good run. The car's doing very well and she runs nicely, so everything's been going very well, thanks.
A season's haul of 140 points for Thompson and Zamatin, finishing 11 clear of Watson and Thompson. Moving to the mining town of Glen Harvey for the final race of the Northern Regions Championship, the Atlas Copco 200. Of course, plenty of competitors making the trip, including a rookie in Suma Smith.
You're making your debut, not just at this event, but in this championship.
Yes, and I'm very excited. I hope it's not going to be the last, but I'm very much excited about this.
Now, how did it come to be that you're making your debut? You're racing for the first time and doing it without a navigator?
Well, I've been next to the track for 25 years, and my husband eventually convinced me to try it myself, so I'm very excited.
And so is Class B leader Wolf Peter Fumvai.
Wolf, first and foremost, excited?
Yes, very much so. I always look forward to do this one, because it's a big challenge, actually.
And tell us why. Why would it be so much more?
It is a combination of being rough, fast, muddy. It's got everything. No, it's a fantastic race, actually.
From a veteran to another debutant in David Huddy.
Your first race, excited?
Very excited, very nervous. We've just had to do a lot of work on the car, so yeah, we're going to go out there, take it easy, get used to the vehicle and see where we go.
Getting things going, the Flying Portuguese, Tony Gouveia alongside son Michael. In the special vehicle category, it was Giel Nel and Fadi Peters who captured the win. An amazing effort given that this was their development year when it came to upgrading the car. Peterson missed out on the Navigators Championship. That honour went to Michael Gouveia, while Tony won the Drivers Championship after coming second in this race. Good going, given their fuel lines got soaked in a deep puddle. Well, some terrific manoeuvring as they cruised past Dirk Pitter, the pair having described this race as absolutely fantastic and very enjoyable. They had to come to a stop though, doing their best to get the cables dry following their earlier swim. Finishing third overall and first in Class B in their Sandmaster, Martinez and Tion Leroux. A tremendous result as they managed to capture the Class B title ahead of Fumvai. Speaking of which, Fumvai ended just behind them, so close but yet so far. Coming home in 5th place overall, Simon Moens and Clive Sutherland in their Sandmaster. In the productions, Henry Zamatin followed up his victory at the Beersfeest 200 with another win in Glen Harvey, driving alongside Johan Gerber in their Ford Ranger. Rob Reed and Bodo Schwegler's good form continued, second place for them for the second time this year. Sorrel and Jaco Oosthuizen are 2 giants of the sport, literally. Both men are massive and are regular faces in the Donaldson Cross Country Championship. This was only their 3rd race this year, but unfortunately for the big guys, it didn't end well as they failed to finish. However, it was only their first DNF of the year. It was a different story for Piet Pieter. He and Cyril Kriel captured third place in their Toyota Hilux in their very first race. Just missing out on the podium, Wallace Hardy and Henrik Skuman in another Toyota Hilux. Rounding off the top 5, the debutants David Huddy and Mike Verschen. Based on this performance, I think we'll definitely see them next year. Next in line, Theuns de Tour and Arnold Nokia. They managed to cross the line 4 times this season while recording just 1 DNF. Joandre Olivier and Gerry Prinsloo in another Toyota Hilux ended 7th, another team competing in their first race in 2014. We saw him earlier, Regan Austin and Warren Foss, 8th place, and the pair getting quite used to this racing thing. One of the famous racing fenters, Dylan Venter, alongside Rowan Pierce, grabbing 9th spot for 4x4 Mega World. Completing the top 10, Victor Fincham and Jan Andries Scheldnys, their second race this year. But up front it was Giel Nel and Fadi Petersen taking the honours in the specials.
Giel, this isn't something that you used to, getting onto the podium?
Yeah, it's nice, but this was a wonderful event. I think they saved this one for the last one. It was very special, very technical, very challenging route. Very nice.
And the car?
The car's beautiful. We've done a lot of upgrading on the car this year, and it's in nick shape, 100%. Beautiful.
They finished just over 5 minutes ahead of Tony and Michael Gouveia, while Martinez Leroux and Tinnis finished 3rd. In the production, celebrations all round for Zamatin and Kerber. Victory for the pair, ending 4 minutes and 20 seconds clear of Rob Reed and Bodo Schwegler. Pieter and Kriel captured 3rd spot. With the racing season done and dusted for the year, attention now moves to South America for the 2015 Dakar Rally. South Africa will have a number of representatives doing duty in the dunes and dust of Argentina, Chile and Peru, such as the team from Imperial Toyota. The Atlas Copco duo of Johan van Staden and Mike Lawrenson in their second attempt at this grueling race. And Jürgen Schroeder, a man who's no stranger to what is arguably the toughest race in the world. Former champ Chanel de Villiers from Imperial Toyota is confident of success.
We did a lot of preparation this year, certainly better than last year, and we got a new car, new chassis. It's certainly feeling a lot better than it did last year. Glenn and the guys did a great job to build this car in such a short space of time. And the first time, we got into it, we had a good feeling, and that's always a good sign. We've improved it since then, and I'm very excited to go to the race this year, and really looking forward to the start.
Come on, I can't wait.
If you like the Dakar, you will love us.
The Donaldson Cross Country Championship, brought to you by Donaldson Filtration Systems, a market leader in filtration solutions.